So fast, so furious, we are on the Scottish moors for a superb driven grouse day. Double-barrelled poster girl, we're on a walked-up partridge day with Jenna and the new Sauer Artemis. Plus low blows, Ben Husthwaite explains how to deal with targets below your feet. We have news, we have hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Sometimes it threatens, sometimes it does, and sometimes it's bright, but always it's driven grouse.
So we're grouse shooting today up in Scotland. We shot here yesterday and had a stunning day.
It is the peaches and cream of British sport. And if he or she has earned it, why shouldn't the well-heeled entrepreneur spend it? We met Ross Neville last year shooting pheasants in Wales. He has worked his socks off in construction in the USA these last dozen years, and grouse is how he likes his fortnight of me time in early September.
You know, this is a 2-week trip. Like I said, it started yesterday where we shot Blocken, 141 brace, superb. Unfortunately, I was in it for most of the day. And then we shoot a few more moors in Scotland. And then next week we head on down to Yorkshire.
Now there's lots more to a grouse day than one man going bang. Browning has sent up a gun for Ross to try, one of its John M. Browning collection, formerly the Browning Custom Shop, retail price £17,000. Normally Ross is a double gun man. Oh pity the poor double gunner and the loader who are faced with a single gun. They have to work out a system for loading it.
You know what? As soon as I fired the first time, I'll go, where's the other one?
Well, you can give it me if you want. You can give it me and I'll eject and reload and give it you back if you want.
Nah. I mean, it's pretty easy just to go. Right? I mean, that's... But is that difficult for you to load then?
The relationship between shooter and loader is a bit like a gay marriage. No, bear with me. With catty comments about the neighbours and the matter of who wears the +4s largely undecided.
On the left. Coming through. On your left. Left. You get it? No. Trying to get Rossi to shoot them early, not crazy early. Pick a spot on the horizon, decide where you think is 40 yards, mark it with your eyesight, and when you get a bird coming to that position or that line, we want to be taking the first shot. By the time you've computed that, it's probably into 35 yards. Now, some people are trying to take them a little bit too early. We're trying to take them at that 35, 40 yard first shot, especially today with this breeze. By the time the pack's on us again, 15 yards out for your second shot. And we do not want to be smashing them up. These birds have got to be eaten. Just keep underneath them.
Ross doesn't have Hugo along just for his sparkling wit. Before the day, Hugo does a lot of homework for Ross on which cartridges to use. You may have noticed that Ross likes to shoot in the pink. Well, Hugo didn't choose the shells just for the pretty colours.
There is a purple, they're not all pink. And the pink isn't because we like wearing pink, it's just that I chose a Rio Royal 32 gram 6, which I'm wanting us to shoot in our first barrel, 3/4 choke, for our 35 to 40 yard bird coming in. Followed up by a Hull Sovereign clay shell, 28 gram 7, so a little bit lighter. That bird, that grouse coming in closer to the butt for the second shot, we don't want to be smashing it up with a heavy amount of lead. And yesterday and this morning, this combination has proved effective. Now, okay, we do get caught out sometimes if we've got long crosses or something, but the clay shell is still up to the job. I got some pattern boards and I experimented with different makes. I got Just Cartridges to send me through all sorts of different cartridge manufacturers, tested them at 25, 35 and 45 yards, different chokes. I basically wanted to do improved modified, which is 3/4 and 1/4 stroke 3/8, and I did that 45 yard, moving in, and these were the two that suited the guns we're using.
Hugo also has a responsibility to help Ross with his shooting. They work as a team. Mildly dysfunctional, but a team.
Here we go. Oh, that's a beauty. That's got some pace about it. Have it?
How the hell did you hit that?
That's the beauty of that clay shell for your second shot.
Yeah.
We're not smashing the bird up. That had some serious pace.
Didn't it?
Your first shot was only about a minute and a half too late, but we got there.
We got there. Here we go. Nope.
And the shells are, of course, fibre wad. As the drive comes to an end, you start to get a sense of the number of people employed to make today happen.
From the point of view of local employment, we do an awful lot. Today there'll be 40 people out. Some of them will be on a daily basis, but an awful lot will be neighbours helping as well. So it's a big team effort.
Brian is in charge of the guns today and does his rounds making sure they are enjoying themselves and seeing fast sporting birds.
Yeah, it was just bloody good when I was right up that top.
Were you in the sort of butt on the...
Right, the end butt, number 9 or 10.
Right.
And it was like a roller coaster in front. You see them take off miles away, and then they'd go under, and then come over the top of that big stone, and then...
Well done, it's amazing, isn't it?
It was a brilliant drive, really was.
Right.
This is one of the best grouse years Locken has seen. For Brian, it's all down to careful management, not just the magic panacea of medicated grit.
Our numbers have been relatively low because of the tick problems, so medicated grit hasn't been a particular value until the last 3 years, and now it clearly makes a difference. We can leave a bigger stock that we would be frightened to do on a regular basis, and that does give us more predictability.
At the heart of the Angus Glens, Locken Estate has escaped accusations from people like Chris Packham that it shoots hen harriers on sight. However, 100 miles away in Edinburgh, politicians and lobbyists are trying to make people like Brian look like monsters for killing birds of prey in order to protect grouse. Brian struggles to understand this charge.
Merlins are here regularly. We don't see eagles down here very often. We occasionally do. There used to be an eagle site on Belfrax, but they've moved away. I think that's probably just to do with, well, possibly to do with the wind farm, but it also probably to do with the amount of walkers we're seeing on places like Schiehallion. Well, this valley here, which is basically keep it all around, is wonderful for black game, fantastic for curlews, and I come up here regularly in the spring when we're lambing and things like that, and seeing lapwings display is just a beautiful experience, and they're everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And as far as I know, there aren't many places like this. It is actually a wonderful thing to see. It's a fantastic place to work, yeah, and it's a fantastic place to be on a day like this as well, despite the rain showers.
Now Ross has kids at home in the USA, and the youngest, Winston, is showing both a healthy interest in shooting sports and a highly developed sense of humour. As is becoming traditional when we film with Ross, he records a shout out for Winston.
So this is for you, Winston. We are standing in a butt today, and that is not a bottom, that is a B-U-T-T.
Ross was bitten by the grouse shooting bug and has since become a one-man tourism boom. Steph Murray from Yorkshire-based sporting agent Mark Rampton looks after all kinds of shooters.
We have a pheasant shooter with us today, and it's yesterday was his first ever day of grouse, so he's finding it a bit bewildering, the speed that they'll fly at you. He's not quite convinced if he likes grouse yet, just because they come straight at you rather than looking up at the blue sky, but I think by the end of the week he want to come back again. You can have fixed price days, you don't have to go into overage, and depends if you shoot at the beginning of the season in August or towards the end in October to what you pay. Since we do a lot of days, we can cater for various price budgets. Yeah. Probably to start off on a fixed price day, because you can get quite a shocker with overages. And grouse is obviously the ultimate bird to shoot, and it's very different from pheasants and partridges, so you kind of want to start on a smaller day, maybe 70 brace, and go from there. Then you can pick it up to 100 brace, or fixed price days where you can shoot any amount. So I'd suggest a smaller day to start off with.
Steph is also in charge of her gun's safety.
Ross shot one right in front of us and it bounced right off the front of our butt. Luckily it didn't hit us. You've got to be very wary. The beaters, the flankers, and of course the guns next door in the next butt. We do have butt sticks, so you can't swing down the line, and you must listen out for the horn. When the horn blows, you have to raise your gun and make sure that you know that you can't shoot any in front anymore, and then it's only shooting behind. Especially on the grouse moors, the beaters can appear from nowhere.
Now, a lovely day it has been, and we hope will continue to be for the rest of Ross's stay in the UK. But what of those Browning guns? Ross usually uses a pair of Krieghoffs, so what does he think of a gun from the John M. Browning collection?
Shoots very, very well, very balanced, very well, and obviously did the job. I suppose, I'm a bigger guy, so 6'4", so I do need a bigger, longer gun typically. But I think really, certainly for the grouse, you want a flat gun that shoots flat. But very much for this, you do want as a lighter gun because they're whippier, faster, quicker birds. So you need to be able to react quicker. Prettier the gun, typically the better it works.
Grouse is so much its own thing. If you're thinking of taking it up, it won't be long before you start looking for new guns for the job.
We don't do pheasants. We unfortunately don't have the clientele that want to shoot pheasants once they've had a taste for grouse. It's very, very luxurious.
Thanks to Browning for sending us to cover the day. For more about its John M. Browning shotguns, go to johnmbrowningcollection.com. And to go shooting at Lochen, get in touch with Mark Rampton. Thank you, Ross. Greatly enjoyed that day, especially as he let me shoot the last drive. Now, from rapid fire to slow burn, it's David on the Fieldsports channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports channel news. The government has announced plans to allow further badger culling. The plans are being introduced in 11 new areas across England as part of a drive to tackle tuberculosis in cattle. The government has also said that it started a vaccination programme to stop the spread of the disease to new areas. Farming Minister George Eustace said the cull was part of a comprehensive strategy to eradicate the disease over the next 20 years. There's a Hunting YouTube Awards and we are on the judging panel. The Monocular Video Awards 2017 are now open for submissions. If you've made a hunting film over the last year or have an awesome clip from a hunting trip, then this is your chance to win hunting prizes from Garmin, Blaser and Sitka. There are 5 categories for both amateur and professional entrants. The shortlisted videos will then be submitted to a public vote, with the winners announced at the Monocular Video Awards ceremony in Copenhagen, Denmark on December the 14th, 2017. Fieldsports channel viewer and pub landlord James Kennedy is running a Taste of Venison night. The Taste of Venison night will be on the 20th of September, and James & Co are hoping to have all 6 species of UK deer on the menu. The event will include a live butchery of a red deer in the pub garden from the in-house butcher. The event starts at 6 p.m. and tickets are £35. Another story sent in by a viewer, this time Adam Hulten from Sweden. Displayed on a major Swedish hunting magazine's website this week was a Facebook post by Hunt Saboteurs Sweden, where they proclaimed to have disturbed hunters, resulting in them first calling the police and then the hunt being cancelled. The problem, however, was that the saboteurs claimed to have done this in the southwest of Sweden, where the moose hunting season doesn't start for another month. Australians are being asked to eat more roo meat to lower numbers. A professor at the University of Adelaide has said the community needs to get behind kangaroo culls to ensure that the meat is not wasted. The purpose of the cull is to allow other species to flourish. Brown bear trophy hunting is once again legal in Romania. By the end of 2017, the local authorities and independent hunters may cull up to 140 bears and 97 wolves deemed to be nuisance animals. This comes 1 year after conservationists praised the country for introducing a ban to increase the animals' numbers. And finally, a Japanese railway company is allowing stray cats to roam the platforms to raise awareness of culling strays. Passengers in Ogaki in central Japan were greeted with the cats on a moving train while on their commute. The event was hosted by Euro Railway Co Limited and non-governmental organisation called Kitten Cafe Sanctuary. The cat population in Japan is around 9.8 million. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Next up, we want to encourage more women into shooting sports, and now the manufacturers are delivering the goods. It's early season partridges, and every man, woman and dog is as keen as mustard to get out walking the fields and flushing the game. On this West Sussex shoot, the cost of the day is shared between the dog handlers and the guns, as both are hoping to get some sport. Professional gun dog trainer Jason Mayhew runs the day.
Back each other up. Just because the bird gets in front of, say, me, I expect you to take it off my barrel. All right, do not look at your shot figures, just get that bird down. These days are more about dogs getting ready for trialling season and getting their dogs ready for game, in that they spend all summer training their dogs on dummies and now they want the real thing. With the competitive side we have with trialling, it's very hard because you can't train your dog at a trial and you don't want to waste your position in a trial. So therefore, these days are put on for the handlers to understand if their dog's ready or not ready, but also to teach the dogs how to find game because it's the start of the season and basically in preparation to start competitive work in the trialling world.
So, no fuss, no nonsense. This is a team effort to shoot birds and get the dogs working. One of the guns is country sports sculptor Jenna Gearing.
This is so alien to me, shooting this low. I'm just used to shooting when you've got a nice backdrop.
We last filmed Jenna when she was doing her favourite kind of freezer filling, deer stalking. For today's game, she is swapping the rifle for an over and under as she is fronting the promotional campaign with her sister Ellen for the new Sauer Artemis. It's a shotgun designed specifically for women.
Wait, now go, go, go!
Oh!
The crop is not easy to manage and Jenna is struggling with the idea of shooting the bird so low. As Jason keeps reminding us, this is not a driven day.
Okay, it's just ingrained into me, like, don't do it.
The most primal way of shooting is when you would go hunting or when you would go as a kind of poacher when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You used to walk the headlines with your spaniel, work the head, and then get to shoot it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to get on. As soon as you hear it, you've got to use your sensory. And the problem is when you wear these,
Yeah.
you don't pick up the flight straight away,
Yeah.
so therefore you're not sharp.
Yeah.
We walk the fields one way, then the other, covering the whole area. Everyone has to stay alert, the guns to get the shot off, and the handlers to mark the bird for the dogs. After a slow start, we are starting to get some sport. Then Jenna is off the blocks, possibly.
I don't know who's that. I think I should claim it. I think that should be my one. The virginal gun experience today.
What would you normally shoot?
I do normally shoot a 20 bore, but I normally shoot my brother's 20 bore, which has got the shortest stock known to mankind. But actually shooting with an over and under is a lot more practical and I much more enjoy it because I actually hit things. Obviously it's meant for a woman, and to actually bring it up I do struggle in this particular area with often just mounting a gun. So actually it's so nice to have one that goes in so comfortably. And I do love a nice little light gun. Our shared bird. But no, it's very comfortable to go because I've gone along kind of moors up in Scotland and carried a 12 bore for hours and hours and hours on end, and by the end of the day you're really feeling it. This is light as anything.
The official launch of the Artemis is this week. The shoot was nearly 2 weeks ago, and even though the girls are giving it some attitude, it was a giggle.
I am not the biggest fan of photography or being photographed or whatever, but actually we had a most wonderful day with the CEO of Blaser, Robert Sadgett, and it was really fun and we just had a really good old laugh, and I think we were there, I don't know, a good few hours, but it was really lovely to just all sit down. It was a really lovely chilled environment, and everyone had a really good time.
We break for lunch and our 4 brace of partridge means we need to turn the heat up this afternoon. Jason and another gun supply some backup as they are looking around the 40 bird mark. This beat in this field is even bigger, so Jason offers shooting stance advice.
What I tend to do is take a half a right and a full left, so I try and keep my weight on my front foot all the time. So take a shorter right, because you're a right-handed shooter.
Yeah.
Short right, long left, so you're always leaning into your shots.
You're always ready then?
Yeah, yeah. And also with beat, because it's always, the bird always gets up when your feet are wrong.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is plan where your feet are going before you take the shot. So don't mount the gun. Think where the bird's going, put your foot in the right position, and then mount the gun onto it. All right.
And have you got any advice on how not to trip up on this beat?
Yeah. It's just getting used to how you walk and beat. What I tend to do is feel my footing go down. So don't be looking down. And people make the mistake of looking down all the time, and that's when they miss what's going in front of them. So what you want to do is just feel where your foot goes down, and just feel. So you can feel the side of the beat that come down your foot, and you know you're going to be safe. But at the moment we're traversing the beat, so it's going to be quite here with your piggledy out. We put our footing down. But the main thing is just take your time. That's why you keep the line slow. 1, it aids you to mark. 2, it keeps you don't step over the birds. And 3, it gives you time to understand where your body's going.
When Jenna isn't getting soaked in search of partridges, she's working on commissions, and there's a real variety of work on the horizon from here to the States.
I'm really enjoying all the sculpting, so plenty of deer and hopefully working with Rigby later on at the beginning of next year out in Las Vegas and Dallas with them. So I'm really heading towards the whole hunting aspect of it. I'm doing a commission for my friend who won Extreme Hunters USA, her little roebuck that she shot when she was out with us, which you guys filmed actually earlier on in the year. So that's lovely. And hopefully, if all goes to plan, Larissa said that she wants me to do her Marco Polo, so sculpt that but cast her own antlers. So
in bronze?
In bronze, yeah. So I think that should be really exciting. So yeah, plenty of work at the moment, and hoping for long may it continue.
No chance of a Marco Polo around these parts, but as a parting shot, Jenna has got supper nailed.
Happy? No, I got one earlier.
For more information about the new Sauer Artemis shotgun for girls and Sauer Apollon shotgun for boys, go to blazasporting.com. Thank you, Jenna and Jason. Next up, we have Ben Husthwaite's latest Smokin Targets with game bore.
So what you're going to see when we dissect this shot down, we've got a chandelle below our feet, so we're going to have a looping bird. We only want to really move the gun on a straight line, so we're not going to try and follow that arc. And what you'll see is Nikki's gun is it'll meet the clay here, the target will go away and do its loop, and Nikki will draw a straight line across, and she'll meet the clay coming down back onto its line. So it's not a maintain lead, it's still a pull away, but Nikki's going to drag a tram line underneath. She's not going to try and loop. So that gun's going to stay square, the clay will leave the gun and come back to it, and Nikki will already be at the right lead. Just try 2 more of those, Nikki. So watch it come back to your gun. Nice move, beautiful. You can see the barrel only moving straight. Straight line. We're not allowed to miss. I told you the rules. We're not allowed to miss. You make me look bad. Let's dissect it as a shot. How far away is it?
20 metres.
Yeah, it's not very far at all. How fast is it, considering that it starts there and lands here?
Not fast.
Not fast at all. So we've got to slow our hand speeds down to match it. So if it's 20 metres and not fast, what do you think the lead will be?
Oh yeah, less.
Less. So if we're ever struggling on any kind of target, dissect its speed, dissect its distance and line. We know this is a flat crosser. Somewhere on the line, in layman's term, you're going to get the answer. So all we're going to do is slow your hand speed down and reduce that visual lead, okay? When you're ready. Straight line across the target, straight line across. Excellent shot, well done. Straight and slow, beautiful, excellent changes. Pull. Pull. We've just had a look at those over Nicky's shoulder, and just by the angle you might see it appear to have a little bit of a dip off at the end. Hopefully now using the shot cam you'll see that my gun will start straight, the clay will leave the gun, and I'm going to try and be in the right place at the right time when it comes down. Again, because I'm always same as what we spoke about before, I'm looking for that visual lead. My hand speed is what's going to control this shot. So if I set off too early, I'm going to be in front of it. If I let it beat me, I'm going to have to race. So timing and visual lead is what we're looking for, and we're going to try and watch that straight line move. You'll notice when I do shoot below my feet, I move from my hips. I'm not going to be up on my toes and trying to get down, but what I'm also going to be, I'm going to be forward before I call pull. You'll see a lot of people, they'll start up straight, they'll call pull, and then they'll move forward. That's going to cause the barrel to dip off. So I'm going to be forward from my hips first with a good solid base, and then rotate through my core, moving right to left on this shot. Let's see what that looks like. Forward now already, pull. Pull. Again, you should see that straight line. There's no variable on that banking in the background. As the clay comes back down, I'm looking for that visual space and squeeze the trigger as I see the lead. Obviously the lead is not just lateral, it's above and to the right, because that bird's going to drop into my shot. So I'm actually looking for a two-dimensional lead, not just the usual one-dimensional lead when we squeeze that trigger at the end.
Let's talk about mental preparation before a stand.
The terminology used there is important, and that's before the stand. If you wait till you get in here to start working, it's too late. You're going to fail anyway. The preparation is done here. I'm a big believer of the most important targets on a shooting ground, the ones you don't shoot. They're the ones you're going to analyse. They're the ones you're going to be standing back. And I'm looking at speed, I'm looking at distance. I want to know line and trajectory. If I go in here and I go, right, okay, what's this one doing? It's too late. I have to come in here with a fully blown plan, and that plan's got to be executed. It's got to involve hold point, viewpoint, and kill point. I've got to know where I'm going to see that bird clearly. I've got to know my kill point. I've got to know how I'm going to stand and how I'm going to dress the second bird. I also want to know, is the referee lazy? Is he going to be slow on the buttons? Or is he electric? Does he want to catch me out? These things are so important to take it to that next level. But you know, preparation is key. You've got to work harder here, and this has got to be autopilot. If you wait until here to do your work, unfortunately, you're going to hit that 70% mark if you're lucky. If you want to get to that higher level, you've got to work hard. But then I'm a big believer in downtime as well. Once I've done my preparation, I've took my competitive shots. When I come out, that's it. Bang, I'm back down to thinking about everyday life, walking to the next peg. You can't concentrate for 4 hours. When I get to the next peg, you start to build. I'm getting my equipment ready for that stand, changing chokes, glasses if I need be. And again, the preparation starts when the person in front of me is shooting. Bang, I'm up to 100%. And then when I walk in, I'm 100% ready to execute the plan that I've already put in place. But one of the biggest things is, if you have a plan and miss, you've got a starting point to change. If you go in there and wave the gun and your best friend's behind you and he says, Ben, you were behind that, you think, that's great, I'll give it less. All right, less than what? Because I don't really know what I gave it anyway. You know, we've got to have a plan that we can stick to or change.
And that is something you hear time and time again. You know, you're behind that, you're in front of that, you're over that. I mean, it's very difficult to ignore that. It
is very difficult to ignore it. The best one is you're 6 inches behind, give it another 2 feet. You know, I'm not the greatest at maths, but I know that's not correct. You know, a lot of people guess. And the biggest thing in instruction, and what I work really hard with Nicky on, I'm not a quick fix instructor. I'm not going to tell you where you missed. You're going to tell me where you missed, and I'm going to tell you why you were there. Because if I correct your lead, that makes me a quick fix. If you were behind this bird today and I tell you to give it more lead, you're going to hit it. Tomorrow when you come back with your group of friends, you have not changed anything, you're going to miss it again. We have to build from the fundamentals. I'm not outcome based, all my instruction is based around process. So it's a very different way of looking at things.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you to EJ Churchill. Now from shooting grounds to shooting films, it's Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Tok Portvliet is crow shooting in the Netherlands, which he does by flagging the crows. Now here's a useful phrase not often printed in Dutch phrasebooks. De sokken van mijn vrouw zijn onweerstaanbaar. It means my wife's socks are irresistible. Nina Count is pigeon shooting in Italy. He's out with a shotgun and using 21-gram number 7s. American duck hunters got together to use their skills in the rescue operations around Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. Now they can get back to duck hunting, as this film in Louisiana shows. Wild Game NZ is on a 3-day winter chamois hunt in New Zealand. He gets a couple of those exotics and a deer, which makes for a heavy carry-out. Randy Newberg is after pronghorn antelope in New Mexico. This episode is exactly as the show aired as Loopholes Fresh Tracks on Sportsman Channel in the USA, now reaching a much wider audience. Serval Channel is hunting Croatian red stags during the rut. Serval continues to show off Croatia as a European sporting paradise. It's a first elk double for Swedish hunter Ann-Sophie Kurtu and a dog called Milu. They are meat hunting in woodland. And finally, viewer Declan McGuinness gives a shout out for his favourite channel, Pond Guru, which is about ponds, metal detecting and a little bit of country sports. In this film he is catching wild trout by the pipe method and by tickling them. That's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the I symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, that's it for this week, and thank you very much for my birthday wishes on all kinds of social media, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I am 50 today, and on Facebook I'm 107, which has led to several calls from stairlift companies. If you haven't done so already, please pop over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube. You can probably wish me happy birthday again if you want to. And we will tell you all about this programme, Field Sports Britain. It's at 7 PM UK time, and this has been Field Sports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.